Hello and welcome back to my channel. In the previous video we have seen how do we compare two strings in C programming and have executed a block of code for the same. If you have missed the video, the link is given in the description, you may go and check out. So in this video we're gonna see what is looping in C or in any other programming language. Before defining what is a loop, let me just try to give you an example which will correlate with the video and give you a better understanding to understand this video. So when you're given a sentence or a word hello world to be written 10 times, what you do is get your skeleton code ready and then print off the statements 10 times. But is this memory efficient? No. It will unnecessarily fill out your memory in your computer. So what can we do to minimize this or reduce this? Here comes the use of loops. We can just minimize the code to 3 lines and then run the code, which will give you the same output, that is printing this line 10 times hello world. So how do we do that? There are 3 types of loops for it. We'll discuss them now. Did you ever see this button in YouTube? This is a loop button which will run your video how many ever times we want to run it. So this is a real-time example which will give you a clarity. So now let me define what is a loop. Loop is something which is used to iterate the code or a block of code as many number of times as the user is going to define. So let us try to see what is this. This is a star pattern, and this is also another same type of star pattern which is inverted. So this is also done by using loops. We'll discuss it now. Now let me just try to define how many types of loops are there in C or in any other programming language. There are 3 main types of looping in C or in any other programming language, which is for loop, while loop, do while loop, and nested loop. So let us discuss them now. Try to understand each and every loop more clearly. So what is a for loop? It is used to iterate a block of statements for a number of times. So the syntax look like this: for loop followed by initialization, then condition, then updation. So what do you mean by initialization here? Initially you'll be having some value of I, j, k or some other variable. So this is initialization. So first what you do is initialize some I equals to 0 or I equals to 1 wherever you want to start the initial condition to be, and then in the condition what you do is put a greater than or lesser than symbol or compare those two numbers or any other type of conditions according to the user requirement. And then in the updation we try to increment it sometimes or try to decrement it sometimes or any other updation according to the user requirement. So we have a simple example here. When we have a task to print n natural numbers, then which loop do you select? Obviously the for loop, and it can be done through while loop or do while also. Let us try to understand them now. So now this is the loop which is for loop used for printing these numbers. So this is how you initialize it. For int I equals to 0, so my initial condition is starting from 0. So I want to print my numbers starting from 0 and then followed by I is less than or equal to n. So I want to run my I value until and unless it is going to reach n, which is the number which the user gonna input. And now I want to increment my number every time I come out of the first number. So now here I print the statement that the numbers are percentage %d and I. So until unless my n is reached, the numbers will be repeating. So now in the same way, when we try to add consecutive numbers, like a number added to the next number, like if I have 0, I add 1 to it, and then if I have 1 and then I add another 1 to it. So like that the loop keeps continuing. So now let us see this program in the compiler which will give you a furthermore clarity. Now let us try to discuss what is a while loop. When we have to print a condition in the loop, then we use while loop which will print until unless the condition is executed and comes out of the loops when it is achieved. So the syntax of this looks like this: while followed by the condition, and then this prints something. So when we have given to print a set of numbers up to a certain range, like I want my numbers to be printed up to say 10. So what I do is first initialize a condition outside before the loop comes in. So now I initially declare int p equals to 0 first, and then I declare another variable which is sum, which I'm going to use it afterwards. And then I have this while p is less than 11, then printf percentage %d and p. So if I initialize this to 10, I get only up to 9 numbers because 0 is also counted. So 0 to 10 is 11 numbers. So what you do is initialize it to 11 so that it will give you 10 numbers, that is 0 to 10. So here first what you do is print the first number, then what you do is add 1 to it every time. So first let us try to dry run it. In this line what you get is 0 initially. Now what you are doing is trying to repeat the loop and reach this number 10. So what the compiler does is it adds 0 and 1 and gives 1, and then it adds 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 1 3, 2, 3 plus 1 4, like that it will run up to 10. So now what is a do while loop? When we are to do something first, what we do is first use the do and then followed by some printing statement, and then come out of the loop and then put a while condition there. So the syntax looks something like this. First what you do is write the do a loop first, and then print something here, then come out of the do loop and then enter the while loop, keep a condition here. So let me give you this example. So I have my int I equals to 0 initially. So what I do is first print this number I. So my I will be printed first, and then what I'm doing is I'm adding 1 to the I value I'm getting every time. So first I have I equals to 0 first. So what I do is add 1 to it, which will give me 1. So then add another 1 to it. So it will give me 0 to 10. So here I'm putting a while condition where I say that it should reach the number 11. Like it should print my 10 numbers. So I'm putting a while condition here. So let us try to perform this in the compiler, which will give you a furthermore clarity. Now what I have at last is the nested loop. The nested loop is something which will have a loop inside a loop. Some two examples which are star patterns. So when you are to print those type of patterns, what you use is this nested loop, which we will be discussing in the next video. So let us try to quickly understand these codes in the compiler now. Now let us try to start fresh and first visualize the for loop. Hash include stdio.h int main. Now I'll declare a variable p and then ask the user input, enter the number, and then scan it in the next line, percentage %d comma and %p. Now what I do is use the for loop. Now I'm going to initialize the starting condition, which is int I equals to 0, and then I say int I is less than or equal to p. So I'll explain the reason for this less than or equal to p now in a while, and now I'll try to print the numbers. The numbers are percentage %d comma I, and now try to run the code. I want to print the numbers from 0 to 5. So the numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Let's try to use the new line. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be printed. So now let us try to dry run this. Why did I use this I is less than or equal to p? So dry run. Now what did I initially declare is I equals to 0. So now I equals to 0 will be printed first. Now what did I do is I have put a condition here which is I is less than or equal to p. What this will do is first check whether 0 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, 0 will be printed here. Now in the second line, what did after the 0 is checked, it will go to the next number which is 1. So it will check whether 1 is less than or equal to p or not. Yes, it is less, right? So 1 will be printed. In the next line, what did it do? Next, jump into the next number which is 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 5. It will be printed. So unless your 5 is reached or any number you input is reached, the numbers will be printing. So this is a basic example of the for loop. Now let us try to understand the same for the while loop also. Now I put a condition first which is int p equals to 0, and then what I do is write a while condition where I say that p is less than or equal to 11, and then inside this what I do is first print my number %d comma I, so comma p. Now I say my compiler to add 1 to every number which is gonna come after this 0. Now I try to run this. The numbers will be printed from 0 to 10. Now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the dry run for the same is the dry run for this code is also the same way where we have did for the for loop. So it will check the condition first. So if 0 is less than 11, it will be printed. Again 1 is less than 11, it will be printed. So unless you reach your condition, the loop will be repeating. So let us try to understand the do while loop now. The same variable, I'll use it for the do while also. So int p equals to 0, do. So what I do is first print this %d comma p. Now I go to the while loop. Before while loop, I would like to add my number every time to 1. No, let us take 2 this time. Now what I do is while p is less than 11. Now we are done. Let us try to run this. So what I get is this output. So initially the number is 0, and then I'm adding 2 to this 0. I'll get 2. So my new value of p is 2 now. So 2 plus 2 will be 4, and 4 plus 2 will be 6. 6 plus 2 will 4 plus 2 will be 6, and 6 plus 2 will be 8. And unless I reach my last condition, the loop will be repeating. So this is how you deal with the loops in C programming or in any other programming language. This is it for this video. If you like the video, do like, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content. And the source code for this video is provided in the description. Check it out.